guys and gals, never hear from Drake Wayne Gaming, and something on Twitter, the Gaming Dragon. Today I'm coming back at you on Let's Play episode of Repeat, Owen's Path. So y'all, let's go ahead and jump right back in, shall we? Alarm chain, you were up, and let's go. There we go. Oh, come on! You're supposed to be cheering me on. Is the saucepan supposed to be smoking? What? Everything's under control! Owen dashed across the kitchen to salvage his blackened pasta. Ha! Failed again. You don't do this much, do you? Well, I usually just go out to eat. Growing up, most of the cooking was handled by my butler. You had your own damn butler? Yeah, he was pretty great. Owen chuckled, a bittersweet smile spreading across his face. It all changed after I left home, though. Sissel used to cook for me before our little fight, spat, whatever you want to call it. Huh, just the good old days. He used to actually smile at me instead of spearing me with laser eyes. Hey, Sissel's a nice guy under all that yelling. I'm sure you two can make up if you keep working at it. I don't know. Sissel was really struggling. I never reached out. Granted, I had my own shit to deal with at the time, but I was a pretty big dick. And I also have a pretty big dick. You know, for a moment I thought I could actually take you seriously. Life's too short to be taken seriously, dude. We're all gonna be wrestling on a bed of flowers sooner or later. Anyway, enough of this sentimental mush. I still gotta win my bet with Sissel, and now I have you as my taste-testing guinea pig. What? Anyway, let's focus back on my pasta making. You gotta help me out, Adrian. As Owen readied the stove again, the smell of burnt cheese filled the room. What had I got myself into? I just wanted a snack. I was about to give Owen a hand, but another figure passing by the door caught my attention. Oh, hello, Philip. Hello, Philip. Why are you up so late? Oh, you know. Just the usual late-night studying on the roof. Philip seems a little off today. His bag seemed unusually full and heavy. As he walked into the kitchen, soft metallic clinks can be heard. I see Owen's dragging into his pasta mess. Any chance you can rescue me? You're going to have to pray to the pasta gods for that kind of help. Philip! Philip, how you doing? You look dead tired. Need a little love to wake you up? Owen scoots over to sling a... Oh, goodness. Owen scoots over to sling a flirty arm over Philip's shoulder, but Philip knocks it away. Personal space. Anyway, I have to get going. You two have fun. Good luck, Adrian. That was weird. The hall Philip was taking didn't lead to the roof. As Philip disappears, Owen lets out a long groan and slumps down in his chair. Hey, Owen, you alright? Yeah, I'll be fine. By the way, you don't have to stay here in my pasta hell. Why don't you just grab your snack and head off to bed? Actually, I don't mind helping you out. Your honor's on the line, after all. Thanks, Adrian. You're probably the second nicest person I've ever met. Jeez, you got low standards. Like, no. I really like this music. Please marry me! Well, that's pretty sudden. What's your net worth? What? I thought we could share our love together. I'm afraid I've got no love to give, buddy. Anyway, let's get back to your pasta cooking. You've got a bet to win, don't you? Right! The two of us spent the rest of the night burning pasta. In the end, we managed to make something edible, but just barely. It didn't seem to count as much of a success, but Owen seemed really happy. Day 4. False Justice. Another morning, another day. I rubbed my eyes drowsily as I looked about the room. Looks like someone slid a note under my door. Adrian, it has been brought to my attention that you witnessed a teacher misconduct incident that occurred yesterday. Please meet me in my office this morning to discuss the details of said incident so that proper action may be taken. Mr. Rokov, Vice Principal. I was not enjoying the sound of this. Well, let's see what fresh hell awaits me today, shall we? As I stumbled across the courtyard toward the teacher's office building, I couldn't help but yawn repeatedly. Really not much of a morning person. Now, which way was the office? What the... Oh. You're back. I don't suppose you've gotten a bit friendly since last time. I waved my hand in front of its face. The Remnant didn't move an inch. Was it back to a more dormant state now? Other students were walking around as if it wasn't even here. Seems like they couldn't see it, similar to every other wish we've met. I tried poking it, but my fingers slipped right through like smoke. Echo? You there? What do you think we should do about this? Here's a thought. Let's not poke the walking embodiment of negativity and self-doubt. Sorry, couldn't resist. I crossed my arms and leaned forward, squinting into the Remnant's blank face, but it didn't move a muscle. So, now that we're back and a little more lucid than last time, do you want to explain yourself a bit? No, not particularly. Come on, Echo. At this point, I know you and this thing are connected somehow. It has a habit of mumbling everyone's deep negative thoughts out loud under its breath. It sometimes makes them worse. Wow, when you put it like that, I wonder why I didn't want to be associated with this thing. I know admitting things about yourself is tough, but you just gotta talk about it sometimes. Last time you mentioned that it's a corrupted wish, and that it might have done something terrible to its wisher to have festered like this. You want to spare me any additional details? Echo's voice was quiet in my mind. I scowled and tapped my own temples impatiently, as though that would jostle him inside my head somehow. Come on, man, if we're gonna do this again, and successfully this time, you gotta give me something to work with. Sorry, Adrian, but I really just don't want to talk about it. Anyway, don't you need to get going? You'll be late. Right. That meeting with Mr. Rokov. I don't think you're off the hook. I'll get some answers out of you one of these days. Alright, 1 second, y'all. It is water time. Alright, guys and gals, and we are back. Let's jump back into it, shall we? Okay. I sprinted down the courtyard, shooting the Remnant one last look. It hasn't budged an inch. Despite being rather familiar with it now, its presence in the distance was still rather unsettling. Well, there's no use worrying about it too much right now. Time to head to the office. Again, and again, and again. Now, let's see. Which one was Mr. Rokov's office? Shouldn't be too hard to find. They were all in alphabetical order. Let's see. This door's slightly ajar. I think I could hear someone familiar. I can't help but take a peek inside. And that's all the assignments. Are you still awake, Philip? Yeah, of course. Good, because you'll want to hear what's next. I've taken the liberty to remove you from my law class and transfer you to Mrs. Corliss's digital and studio art class. What? Why? Am I failing, or...? Quite the contrary, you're actually at the top of your class and outscored all your peers. Then why are you transferring me? Would you like the gentle answer or the honest one? Honest it is, then. To be frank, you look absolutely miserable in every waking moment in my class, and those waking moments are quite rare. That... I'll be frank, Philip, I've never had a student look so soul-suckingly numb. It makes me want to break down in tears every morning. You look like the perfect sad zombie student spreading the sad around. I'm sorry. Soul-sucking aside, I think you'll be much happier in Mrs. Corliss's class. Your artwork is quite impressive. More importantly, you seem to actually enjoy it. I can't do that. My mother always pushed me to be a lawyer, a doctor, or something more professional. You'll be the one who lives and breathes your future career, not your mother. You deserve to do something that makes you happy, Philip. Think on it. Girani Academy's summer program is an opportunity to dip your toes into something different, after all. There was an awkward pause in the office before Mr. Rokov coughed loudly. Anyway, I believe our little session is almost finished. Onward to the next order of business. I believe our guest has arrived. Why don't you come in, Adrian? I jumped and practically stumbled into the door. Adrian, what are you doing here? Oh, I got a note that said I was supposed to be here. I wasn't eavesdropping or anything. Your eavesdropping is forgiven. Anyway, I called you both here to discuss a certain incident yesterday that you both witnessed. Would you two care to describe what happened between the quarrel between Mr. Dorkas Dolores and the student Sissel? Oh, so that's what's going on. Sounded like Mr. Dolores was finally facing some consequences. Good riddance, too. That guy was an awful teacher. Was Philip at the incident yesterday, too? Sure seemed like it. I told Mr. Rokov everything that happened yesterday. From Mr. Dolores yelling at me to how Sissel stepped in to defend me and got manhandled as a result. I couldn't help but grin as I described how red Dolores got when his hair flew away in the wind. Behind me, Philip tried to muffle a laugh. I'm glad Adrian was there to step in and stop him. You really saved Sissel from Dolores. I felt my face grow a little red. I was there too, but I was in the back of the crowd, too tired to do anything. It's a good thing that you were there instead. I didn't really do much either. I'm glad the school's actually going to do something about Mr. Dolores, though. There's a ton of other students who witnessed the whole thing, so there's no doubt he crossed the line. Hope Dolores gets what's coming to him. Rest assured, Adrian, the staff and I will make sure Mr. Dorkas Dolores faces the proper... Philip shot the vice principal a doubtful look. Will he? I have my doubts. In fact, I think this whole meeting is a rather large waste of time. Mr. Rokov coughed awkwardly and tried to regain his composure. What do you mean by that, Philip? Am I wrong? Dolores has never faced consequences for his previous behavior above a light slap on the wrist. I've done some digging, you see. It turned out his brother's the head of the school board. He has quite a bit of leverage in all these discussions. I assure you, Philip, that those rumors floating around aren't necessarily true. Really? Like how Dolores messed with the student contacts and made sure Sissel didn't receive mail from the academy. That's why Sissel didn't show up for orientation on her first day. And what about the time before that? Dolores pulled some strings to make sure Sissel didn't receive any scholarships or financial aid. If it wasn't for Sissel's anonymous donor, he wouldn't even be in school right now. After all this, did Dolores receive a single punishment? No. Let's just face it. That rat's not going to face consequences unless he's caught red-handed at something truly awful. A heavy silence hung in the room as Philip exhaled sharply. Mr. Rokov seemed at a loss for words. I didn't blame him. I didn't think I'd ever seen Philip so cross. He was usually so lighthearted. Tell me, Philip, how would you know all this? How? I guess I'm a bit nosy. And I have some very, very nosy friends. Sissel is just a good guy trying to get his life back together. He doesn't deserve all this crap. Mr. Rokov glanced at his watch before returning to Philip with a defeated sigh. Well, I believe we discussed all we could here. I've kept you too long enough. Why don't you go get some breakfast before the dining hall closes? Changing the subject, huh? Despite my growling stomach, I felt a bit reluctant to leave. Philip wasn't as hesitant. He was already halfway to the door. Philip? What? I assure you the staff and I will do our utmost to make sure justice is served. I hope so. Mr. Rokov stared grimly at Philip's retreating back until he disappeared from sight. After a while, he turned to me. His worried gaze made me a bit anxious. Adrian. Yes, sir? Look after your friend for me, will you? Philip's a responsible young man, but he's also known to cross the line for certain things. I'm just afraid he'll do something rash. Make sure to be there for him if he does. I'll do my best, sir. Alright, y'all. I'm actually going to pause it right there. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon if you can. It always helps. Anyway, I love you all, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye!